What happens when a K-pop idol stands on a massive American stage with no group members by his side, no backup dancers, no extravagant visuals, just him, a microphone, and 18,000 pairs of eyes waiting for him? That question was answered on an unforgettable night in Anaheim when Kim Seokjin, better known as Jin, rocked the Honda Center stage and rewrote the history of Korea's entertainment industry with one bold step. No one was truly prepared for this moment. Even fans who had waited days outside the venue fell silent as the lights went down and a single spotlight illuminated one figure dressed in white, eyes teary, but smile warm and sincere. Jin didn't just perform. He showed up, he connected, and delivered something far beyond music. He showed that silence can roar, and gentleness can shake the earth louder than any bass drop. That night wasn't about technical surprises or grand choreography. It was about connection. And that connection, felt in the pounding hearts of thousands standing frozen before the stage, was something even the best cameras couldn't fully capture. Many came from various countries, carrying handmade posters, wearing shirts with lyric quotes, hoping to see Jin as more than just a face on a screen. They wanted to feel his presence, and that night, they received more than they ever imagined. Jin opened his concert not with explosions or spotlights, but with one quiet sentence that instantly made the air heavy. "I don't know if I'm enough for you, but I'll try my very best." That sentence, delivered in English with a distinct accent and raw honesty, sparked an emotional eruption from the crowd. Tears flowed even before the first song began. There was something deeply human in the way he stood. Not perfect, slightly trembling, but firm. As if he knew, even though the whole world was watching, tonight was just between him and the fans. In an era where K-pop is often seen as a flawless industry, Jin came bearing beautiful flaws. Doubt, nervousness, uncertainty, and that's where his power came from. He didn't come to showcase perfection. He came to share his truth. Song after song, he sang with an intensity rarely seen even in international concerts. When he performed Awake, his voice cracked, not out of mistake, but because emotion overtook him mid-verse. And the audience? They didn't judge, they sang the next lines with him, as if offering invisible support that wrapped around the entire arena. This wasn't just interaction, it was collective healing. Even when he performed more upbeat songs like Super Tuna or Moon, Jin maintained an intimacy that made the concert feel like a private gathering in a massive hall. He danced shyly, laughed at his own lyrics, and waved to fans sitting at the farthest seats as if they were right in front of him. Every moment felt like a small gift, carefully wrapped and personally delivered to each audience member. And when the giant LED screen behind him showed childhood photos of Jin, back when he still dreamed of being an actor, thousands in the audience sobbed. It was a silent narrative that explained how a shy boy from Gwacheon now stood on one of America's most iconic stages with the whole world watching. But Jin wasn't the only one making history that night. The fans, ARMY, also created an atmosphere never before seen at the Honda Center. They sang, cried, and held hands. Even the security personnel at the venue were reportedly touched by the warmth and orderliness rarely found at large-scale concerts. One staff member reportedly said, "I've worked hundreds of shows, but this is the first time I felt like part of a family." There was an invisible force uniting them all that night, and that force was named Jin. Between songs, Jin opened up in a way that's rare for a superstar. He spoke about his anxiety facing his first solo concert, how he missed his BTS members, and his fear that not enough people would show up. "But you're here," he said, before smiling and adding, "and now I don't want this night to end." That moment was captured on thousands of phones, but not one camera could convey the emotional tremors as accurately as the real experience. Many wept not just because of the songs, but because they felt that Jin truly saw them, and more than that, accepted them. When Epiphany played, Jin stepped back from the microphone, not because he forgot the lyrics, not because he was tired, but because the entire arena was already singing it for him. He looked around, eyes glistening, and let the voices of thousands wrap around him. At that point, the concert transformed into something sacred. It was as if the entire venue had become one voice, one heart, one feeling that words couldn't describe. After the song ended, he bowed his head for a long time. And when he stood back up, his smile was uncontainable. Jin's fame wasn't just proven by audience size or trending hashtags. He made people feel. And in a world increasingly filled with distractions, that's the rarest achievement. When the encore played and confetti began to fall like snow, Jin looked up at the venue ceiling as if trying to memorize every second. "I don't know how to repay all this, but I'll keep singing as long as you want to hear me." In the entertainment world, lines like that often sound cliché, but that night, not a single word felt fake. Everything felt real, raw, and touched the heart directly. After the concert ended, no one left immediately. Many sat on the venue's floor, still clutching their light sticks, tears not yet dried. Some played back recordings of the most emotional parts, hugging new friends they had met while queuing to enter. One fan wrote on X, "I came alone, but I'm going home with hundreds of siblings." Jin's power wasn't just in his voice or lyrics. He created a space, a place where people could feel they were not alone. Even the American music industry began to recognize Jin's impact. A major producer reportedly attended the concert incognito and described Jin's performance as a new definition of a solo concert. No complex choreography, no guest stars, but the atmosphere outshined any music festival. Some even dubbed Jin the emotional poet of this generation, a title not exaggerated considering how his lyrics and messages pierced straight into the softest parts of the soul. And all of this is just the beginning. Jin still has many cities to visit, but Anaheim will always be the first chapter of a much greater story. He didn't open his tour with visual explosions, but with emotional outbursts that echo far longer. He proved that an artist's power isn't measured by stage crowding or production length, but how deeply they can reach their audience's heart. Jin wasn't just a singer that night. He became a healer of wounds, a calm and anxiety, and a voice that filled the silence in thousands of lives. And when the black van carrying him home began to roll away from the venue, one lucky fan managed to capture him waving from behind the window. No flashing cameras, no press statements, just Jin, a small smile, and a hand gesture that seemed to say, "I'll be back." But what many didn't realize was he never really left, because since that night, everyone who was at the Honda Center took home something that couldn't be bought. A memory of the man who once stood alone in a sea of purple and made them all feel like they were the only one there. Jin's concert wasn't just a show. It was a hug from afar, a reminder that in a world growing colder and harsher, softness can still be a revolution. It was proof that dreams long held can blossom into the most beautiful reality, if watered with love and patience. And for anyone who witnessed it that night, one thing is certain. They didn't just watch history unfold. They became part of that history themselves.